The latest now on the impeachment trial of President Trump. Democrats about to make their case for a second day, detailing how President Trump pressured Ukraine in a scheme to cheat in the 2020 election, block Congress from investigating, and they're now calling on the Senate to demand key witnesses and evidence to ensure a fair trial. Our senior congressional correspondent Mary Bruce is checking it all on Capitol Hill. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, George. Well, Democrats are meticulously making their case here, going line by line through the evidence and creating a timeline that they say shows the president abused his power and should be removed from office. But they're also pointing out what they don't know yet and urging senators to help fill in those gaps by calling additional witnesses that are being blocked by the White House. After a late night laying out their case,
Senate is adjourned.
This morning, Democratic prosecutors are preparing for day 2 of their opening arguments, accusing the president of abusing his office for his own political gain and obstructing Congress.
The president was the key player in the scheme. Everyone was in the loop. He directed the actions of his team. He personally asked a foreign government to investigate his opponent. These facts are not in dispute.
For 8 hours, Democrats going chronologically over every phone call, every email, and playing video using the president's own words against him.
Well, I would think that if they were honest about it, they'd start a major investigation into the Bidens.
Start a major investigation into the Bidens. The evidence of wrongdoing by President Trump is hiding in plain sight.
Democrats warning the president must be removed from office to protect the 2020 election.
The president went to extraordinary lengths to cheat in the next election.
And they urged Republicans to let them call additional witnesses that have been blocked by the White House.
The full and complete story is within your power to request. Ask yourselves whether the documents and witnesses that have been denied by the president's complete and unprecedented obstruction could shed more light on this critical topic.
Sitting silently through it all, the president's legal team, they won't have a chance to respond and make their case until Saturday. But the president is already chiming in. On his way back from Switzerland Wednesday with the trial underway, Trump tweeted more than 140 times, more than any other day of his presidency. Now, the Democrats have about 16 hours left on the clock, and inside the chamber, senators are paying close attention. We have seen them taking detailed, copious notes, but George, it does seem some fatigue is starting to set in here. We've also spotted senators standing up, stretching their legs, or sneaking in some extra snacks, and they are expected today to be back in those seats at 1 o'clock.
Can't blame them for a little stretch. Okay, Mary, thanks very much for bringing our chief legal analyst, Dan Abrams, for more on this. There's really two different arguments going on now from the Democrats. On the one hand, they say they have an overwhelming case that the president should be convicted. But even if you don't believe that, you need to fill in all these gaps for a fair trial.
You would think that the key here would be the substantive arguments about abusive power and obstruction of Congress. But really, the focus is on more witnesses should be called. Witnesses should be called. We need to be able to hear from additional people. So if you view the arguments that way and not just as an argument to try to convince them to remove the president from office, which I think they know is an incredible long shot, it starts to make a little more sense what the strategy is, how they're doing what they're doing, why they keep coming back to this issue of the holes in the story and how they want to fill them in.
And, you know, the White House is still hoping perhaps at some point for a motion to dismiss. Now, in a courtroom, the judge dismisses a case when he says or she says all the facts are true, but it's not a crime.
Right. I'll assume that all the facts are true and it still wouldn't be a crime. I don't think that's the way they would frame it here if there were a motion to dismiss. But again, we're talking about potentially 51 votes to have more witnesses. You also need 51 votes to be able to get this thing dismissed. So I think that's still a long shot for them. I think that there are enough senators who are going to want to at least be seen as hearing all the evidence, listening to it out, and not entertaining a motion to dismiss at this point.
Rudy Giuliani playing a big role in this case.
A huge role. They're again and again trying to convince these moderate senators that Giuliani was the arm of the president. And any of the shenanigans that he was doing in Ukraine are effectively the president's actions. And it's a powerful argument.
Dan Abrams, thanks very much. You'll be joining us for our live coverage of the Senate impeachment trial. I'll be anchoring with our whole political and legal team starting at 1 Eastern, right here on ABC. Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.